I'm still in Key West, Florida, enjoying the beautiful scenery and weather down here and just the liveries, the restaurants, the bars. It's been amazing. Talked about Lexus GX this morning, gave you guys a little tour of the block I'm staying at. But if you thought the Lexus GX news was exciting, we just got what is probably the next generation Tacoma spied out on the streets from one of my viewers. Let's get into it. All right, so here we go. Thank you for, you know who you are, for sharing this with me and with the Luxurious Fleet. Is you're formerly known, the community that is built around the channel. Anyways, let's get into this video and just break down what we're seeing here. I'm going to turn down the volume because I don't want any road noise coming in, but check this puppy out. Look at, it just looks so cool. I am adoring the wide body of this thing. Looks like a mini, I don't know, should I say mini Raptor or something? It just looks so wide compared to the current Tacoma. You got these wide arches in the back, wide arches in the front, really high bedline. Jeez, this is ridiculous. I wonder if this is like a TRD Pro model. I mean, we have a big tip off the side, but typically the tips on a TRD Pro, I'm talking a lot about tips here in Key West. Anyways, the tips on the TRD Pros are typically like a darkened finish. So we're gonna keep going. The window line looks like it arches up on the rear window to give it a little bit more, I don't know, aggressive look to it. Of course, we have the brake light on the top here. There's not much else to say other than the ground clearance is immense on this vehicle. Another pause here. It looks like we have really fat tires on this model. Looks like a solid axle on the back. I'll let it play for a little bit. We got a small glimpse, and this is pretty decent with the door handles here and the window trim. Like, this is a pretty high quality spy shot in my opinion. So thank you for, you know who you are, for sharing this with us and risking your life on the freeway. You can see the pretty big, what looks to be like a bumper guard or something on the front here. The lights are camoed. It looks like maybe like a bisecting light sort of thing. It's really hard to say. Really small wheels, probably 18-inch wheel, maybe even smaller. Those wheels look tiny. And there's probably one of our better looks of the front of the vehicle, at least the front portion of it. You're gonna just kind of, oh, he dropped it a little bit trying to, there we go. We got a picture of the front, so it looks like we have a little bit of almost like the Tundra front end, but it doesn't take up the whole front of the vehicle, if that makes sense. It's almost been minimalized, which, gosh, the front end of the Tacoma is a lot to digest. So the front end of the Tundra is a lot to digest. So this Tacoma looks to have a much more reserved, sort of maybe traditional Tacoma-like front end and grille to it. But we really don't have any lights or anything. I think that was it, yeah. This is also filmed in Michigan. And the filmer of it, he's like, I don't think Toyota has any plants up here, but I reminded them, like, hey, you know, Toyota Research Institute is, or TRI, I believe it's called, TRI, Toyota Research Institute, is in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So they test trucks there, and I think his name's Mike Sreers. He helped develop the F platform that all these the new generation body-on-frame vehicles are built on. And this is going to be built on the new platform as well. Of course, modified versus Sequoia and the Tundra and the Land Cruiser and the LX, it'll be a little bit different, and even different than the GX for that matter. Toyota actually shared this image with us when we saw the electrified plethora of vehicles back in December, but I'm not seeing necessarily the same vehicle here. And I know this is an electric vehicle, electric truck that might kind of bridge the gap between Tacoma and Hilux potentially, but I mean, from what I'm seeing here, the fenders are much angular and wider compared to what we're seeing on this model. So maybe I just need to see it from a different angle, but at least from this one, it doesn't look like the same sort of proportions. Here's another angle of that pickup truck that was teased in December, and we have, you know, smaller mirrors because they are digital side mirrors here. Small wheels, big tires like we just saw. I mean, and even the rear window going up, like we saw in that prototype on the road, could be somewhat similar. But, you know, now that I'm looking at the rear portion, this could be, and it's just the angle, right? But this could be angular enough to kind of replicate what we see here. What do you guys think? Is this close enough. It might be, this line right here might be the proportions we're looking for that we see here. So now I'm more excited, because maybe what Toyota showed here could have been the next Tacoma. And it's a great looking template. If they stuck with this for the next production model, I think it would be fine. So, but the front end looks more RAV4-ish to me than it does Tundra. Here's another angle of it when we saw the compact cruiser here. Of course, this new pickup truck is in the back. Not much to say other than, we have a painted roofline, kind of like a bicolor painting scheme here. Of course, like the Stormtrooper theme that we have going on it. And then we can zoom in with Akio Toyota in the back here, but there's not a whole lot to see on this other than the really aggressive hood. The non-porous, the flat plastic beam there on the grille, because this is an electric model. But you take that out, you give it more air sucking capabilities for the new engine. And what's the new engine going to be on this vehicle? Well, we could just follow the trend of what we're seeing on the Highlander, right? Because the Highlander used the same V6, right, as the Tacoma, the 3.5 liter. We can look what's happening on the Lexus RX, same V6 replaced with a 2.4 liter turbo. So I think this setup right here, 275 horse, 317 pound-feet of torque, is pretty much a lock for the new Tacoma. I just don't see them keeping the V6 with restrictions, emissions restrictions going on right now. So that seems to be the trend. Fuel economy will be pretty much the same. It's just a cleaner burning engine in theory. You're still burning the same amount of fossil fuels, but the air quality that it produces is slightly better. So it is what it is. But anyways, rest in peace V6. But you get better torque response and better low power response out of it. What I think most of us would be most excited for is hybrid pickup truck. Everyone's going, goo goo gaga over the Maverick hybrid and the 40 miles per gallon they can get. Could Toyota have, a 4-cylinder hybrid like what we have right here and get 35 miles per gallon out of it with, 237 horsepower combined and 316 pound-feet of torque with an 8 or 10 speed automatic? I think that's completely possible, and I think it would be a great alternative engine in the new Tacoma. So there are a lot of things I just don't know. I think also this is a possibility as well. Look, we were seeing this turbo hybrid setup not only in the new Lexus RX, but in the Crown as well, more than likely. But that's going to be a different setup because that's front-wheel drive based. The Tacoma, being on the F platform, has a longitudinal engine. So you have one electric motor between the transmission that goes to a drive axle to the rear wheels, transfer case in there to also send power to the front wheels. So very different setup, but they could have the turbo hybrid as well with 323 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque. Not quite as juicy in power numbers as what we see in the 500h RX, because that has 367 horsepower, but actually in this sort of setup it could have more torque, which is more important in a pickup truck, right, than peak power. So you could have more peak torque here in an inline 4 turbo hybrid. And this is just kind of like the scaled down version of what we see in the iForce Max hybrid, right? Fuel economy will probably be 25 to 30 on this sort of setup. And then they would also have the base hybrid, which is this, and you'll be getting 30 to 35 miles per gallon, maybe more. It's really hard to say. So I'm really excited for this new Tacoma, new 4Runner as well. We just got, like I said earlier today, we got news on the new GX coming out. GX 4Runner, Hilux, Prado, Tacoma. In some ways, it's going to be more similar than ever, maybe share more powertrains than ever, because they're all on a new generation F platform for Toyota. And we could be seeing hybrid diesels for those alternative products outside of the United States, and other diesels as well in the lineup, inline 4 turbo diesel hybrids. Like, all sorts of cool stuff is coming for the upcoming Hilux, Tacoma, etc. But I'm going to end it there, cut myself off. After this, I'm going to head out to dinner, go see some live music with my wife, enjoy a couple drinks. Tomorrow, enjoy the beach, and then get back on a boat back home to Naples, Florida. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video on the new Tacoma spy shots and just a little bit of prepping mentally for what we should see in the new Tacoma, Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more. And special thanks again to my viewer who shared this amazing video with us from Michigan. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful time wherever you are. I'll do my best to have the best time I can down here in Key West. Peace out.